So that'll bring up third down just a few inches.
Well, you made the comment earlier about the Olympians having several guys going both ways, and that has to tell later on in the football game, as it did against West Torrance. They were in the football game, and then they stopped getting off the ball because they were probably fatigued. And as a result, there was 2 touchdowns in that second half that the West Torrance team scored on the Olympians, and they went down to defeat.
However, the rule of thumb is that if the other team has a lot of players that are not going both ways, they'll wear down the team that is going both ways. But here, we have a situation where both teams have a lot of two-way players, and they'll both be working each other downward precipitously as the game goes along. So it's kind of like they'll be slowing down together, so it may not be as, I guess, apparent. First down yardage gain for Leuzinger.
But, you know, Wilson only has about 3 or 4 guys going both ways, as opposed to Leuzinger, who have about 7 or 8 guys going both ways. So that is a little bit of a difference.
But look who they are. You got, say, Isaiah, who's one of your key runners in there. He's having to go both ways. You don't want your key skill athletes having to go both ways, because those are the guys you want on fresh legs. Say, Isaiah, very key for the Bruins. Time has run out in the first quarter, in which Leuzinger has taken a 6-0 lead. You're watching Ed Dodd Sports from Wilson High School. Back with more coverage of Long Beach High School football in just a moment. They've just changed direction, and now with first down and 10 inside the 35 of Wilson, trying to tack to their lead, which already is at 6-zip. Run by Fontenot, and for one of the few times in recent memory, he stopped without much of a pickup.
Craig Richardson in on that tackle. He's had quite a few tackles already, Willie. He's a fine tackler at cornerback. He comes in, or excuse me, free safety, or strong safety. He comes in really hard and lays some heavy leather on any tackler. Craig Richardson.
Second down and 8. Pitch back to Fontenot, and great defensive pursuit by the Bruins, as doing the work in the backfield was Craig Richardson, along with him
Kenny Maddox, number 45, assisted on that tackle. Nice pursuit by the Bruins.
That's what you like to see if you're part of the Bruin coaching staff, is that pursuit. And equally as important, if not more important, is the fact that they wrapped Fontenot up and didn't allow him to get another second or third effort run.
That's a great point, Willie. I mean, they weren't not doing that in the previous drives, and now they seem to be more determined doing that.
Important play here. Third down and 12. Heavy rush, and Marshall's going down. Big rush, and it was Curly Dorn who finally hog-tied him and brought him down. Timeout call by Leuzinger with fourth down coming up, and it's going to be fourth and a heck of a lot more than 12, as Curly Dorn right here.
Curly had 3 sacks against Paramount, Willie, and he picks up his first sack of the night, coming up from his rover position on defense.
He took that sack away from Dan Petrov, but Petrov had him. 10-19 showing on the clock.
I thought this would be a competitive game, Willie. It's only 6-0, and the Bruins are really in this. And for all intents and purposes, they could have scored when Gaither was stripped of the ball at the goal line.
Well, one of these teams will win.
Or tie.
Well, then we're getting ugly. But either of these teams, if they win and they win ugly, it doesn't matter.
No.
Children, have you come for lunch?
No.
The punt, good one. Fielded inside the 10. Slip move, is that Velasquez? Yes, Velasquez up the middle. There's a flag down. Velasquez gets out to the 30-yard line. Talk about going right up the gut. Velasquez went right up the middle, but I got a feeling there's going to be a clip against Wilson, and there is. It was just, unfortunately, too good a return, too good a run not to be. Watch here. I think that's where they get the call right there.
Well, if it's that, that's real close. You know, I'm not sure that was a clip, but it was called, and there's another penalty against the Bruins that kills a nice offensive threat.
It's real close. It's also, I think, a real poor call. You know, that's.
I was trying to be kind.
That's what your job is.
Yeah, you tell it like it is. I like that.
You know, you got to. These kids are. It's already a tough enough situation to teach these kids block in front, do this. But when the kid is moving backwards at you, you know, it's kind of hard for the kid blocking to try and avoid it. That kid, the kid that was going to make the tackle, didn't appear to be stationary. Football got moved back, but the Bruins moving it ahead. Big run for Gaither. Gaither trying to outrace Leuzinger. He's finally brought down at the 40. This time he holds on. Gaither at just 5'8", couldn't even see him. Just saw white jerseys chasing something and someone, and it was Gaither underneath all that.
Well, Razy Lou made a fine block. See him up top. He made a nice block, and he had another nice block by number 79, Anthony Casey. Now, this is a foot race right here.
What a great run. Alpha English.
Alpha English made the tackle.
This time it is Omar Issa, flagged down at the end of the play. There's some oohs and ahs coming from the other side of the field where the Bruin fans are.
We have an Olympian down over there, Leuzinger.
Big run. Again, we see the Bruins moving the football well, but once again, they're in the green pastures, not the red zone. Let's see what happened on the, I don't know if we're going to see that play again where we saw this player getting injured. See if we can pick it up. It was a first down run. Omar Issa, just into the game, carried the football. You've got a mass of humanity in the middle, and that's where you get, oh, this is the big run. This is going to be the run by Gaither again.
Now, you have to watch the guards, the pulling guards, when you're watching a double wing T. They get the initial block. Look like a face mask almost there. Now we have, now this was not the play that we're talking about. This was the play before with Gaither breaking loose. And the basketball player, the small forward for the Olympians, Leuzinger, Alpha English, made that tackle.
Alpha English, who will probably take basic English in college, one would imagine.
Did you want me to laugh at that one?
No, I just had to go there.
You had to. You couldn't resist.
Well, wait till we get a little bit later in this game, and I pull out this name that is just going to kill some people. I saw it earlier. Ulysses Lee. Is that a cross between Grant and Lee?
Civil War.
Yeah, that's a little Civil War.
Yeah.
You know.
History 101.
Ulysses Lee.
Now we see number 53 for the Olympians.
53.
Is it? Yeah, 53.
Daryl Barnett. I mean.
Oh, Daryl Barnett. He's a good one. Now, he's a shot putter, Willie, and he also throws a discus. He's a fine athlete. Now it looks like it looks ugly. It looks like an ankle.
Well, it's an ankle or a knee. It's, you know, when you get the players bending and you know you got people rolling on top of each other, your leg can sometimes get pinned. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more action as we continue our coverage in a moment.
Children.
They had an unsportsmanlike penalty called, and the give, again, it is running the football, Issa, and Omar Issa on virtually the exact same play that the Bruins ran before. Gets inside the 10, inside the 5. That's where the chalk begins to fade.
Can't say enough about Razy Lou. He's pulling. He's one of the pulling guards for the Bruins, and he's really getting off the ball really well and getting some good blocks.
Bruins try up the middle. Great drive for the Bruins. If you recall, The punt was received by the Bruins inside the 10. Great return. I think it was Velasquez who returned it, but a penalty brought it back on the clip line. It's Gaither again. This time he holds on and he's in. Touchdown, and we're tied at 6.
Well, I had a chance to talk a long time with Randy Gaither yesterday while I was attending practice here at Bruin Town, and Gaither said he's come a long way back. He didn't get a chance to play last year, and that was really frustrating for him, but he's turned it around, and he's performing well, and he's doing well in school. You like to hear that kind of story from young men anywhere.
Holding will be battle as Hewitt will try the point after to give the Bruins a lead. Placement down, good snap, kick up, kick looks good. It is good. And the Bruins, with 9 minutes and 2 seconds left in the second quarter, have taken the lead, 7-6. We'll be back with more coverage of Long Beach High School football on Ed. Sports coverage in just a moment. The ensuing kickoff as the Bruins have just taken a 1-point lead. A kick that goes back towards the Bruins. Wow, if the Bruins had gotten a hold of that one, they would have gotten possession. It would have been a very play.
Oh, he's a heads-up player. The coaching staff had great things to say about them when I talked to him a couple of days ago out there in Lawndale, and they said he's a gamer. Before it's over, we'll probably see him get a punt or a kickoff and really bring some excitement to this sparse crowd here at Wilson High School.
Eight minutes and 58 seconds left in this second quarter as we're about midway through the first half. I'm Willie Padilla along with me, Errol Parker. Down on the field, Bruce Tran, our entire Ed. Sports team. Headed up by Ray Sharp back in our truck, our producer-director. And a plethora of students and the like.
Well, it's tough when you're 0-2 on a campus and there's not much excitement. You get pounded in your first game and you lose a tough one your second game. The student body's wondering when you're going to win, and they have other things they can do on a Friday night.
Indeed. You've always got water polo matches to go attend to, volleyball. Not only the activities around Long Beach, but other sports teams that are doing quite nicely. Lamar Johnson, his first carry, and he's looking for more action. Nice run.
Both of these offensive lines are performing well tonight, Willie. If you really concentrate on the battle of the trenches and isolate on that, you see why these great runs are being ripped off. Both offensive lines are getting off the ball really well, and they're making initial blocks. And when you have athletes like both of these teams have, when they get in the secondary, it can get real exciting.
First down and 10, football at the 35-yard line. 7-6, the Bruins lead it. A 68-yard touchdown run by Fontenot, point after no good for Leuzinger. That was in the first quarter, but the Bruins answer in the early going of the second on a 2-yard run by Gaither. And a flag down. It's against Leuzinger, movement prior to the snap. That puts you into a passing mode quite possibly. They've thrown the football fairly effectively between Chester Johnson and Donald Bell. They've been able to pass the football medium range, hit their spots. But usually it's a situation where the run looks like it's inevitable, thus opening a passing lane. Here, it looks like a pass is due. First down and 15. Instead, it's the give. Getting wrapped up in the backfield is Lamar Johnson. So rather than playing back against the pass, the Bruins bring everyone, and it works as Johnson gets dropped in the backfield.
Curly Dorn are there, the rover again coming there. Dorn and Richardson are really doing a good job at their strong safety and rover position on the left side of the field. You need to isolate on that because those guys are coming very aggressively, Willie. Now, traps and draws and screens can help slow up the aggressiveness by those two players.
If anything at all has prevented Leuzinger from really getting that passing game going is the fact that the Bruins have limited the amount of time in the pocket for Marshall.
Excellent point.
Marshall drop back. Again, the rush was coming. And I'll tell you what, Marshall's been hit 1 or 2 times already. This time he didn't wait.
And that's what you want to create, a hurried I don't want to get hit anymore type of quarterback that said, I don't want to go down on a sack, or I don't want to get hit again, and he'll just kind of throw the ball away.
Well, you recall on Marshall's first pass, he got drilled by a combination of Petrov and Sapai Isaiah, and I mentioned that he just stood in there and took the shot. This time, he didn't stand in and wait. He got rid of it. And now a timeout is called on the field as Leuzinger in a little bit of disarray at 3rd down and 20. Apparently, Bob Greer not happy with what they had going on. So we've got a report from Bruce Tran. Let's go ahead and get to that report. Hello, Bruce.
We're here with John Meyer, the principal of Wilson High School. Mr. Meyer, how does it feel to be back at Wilson?
It's a great feeling to be back on a field that I played in the 50s, coached on in the 70s and 80s, and now back. It's wonderful.
Okay, back to Willie and Arrow up in the booth.
Thank you very much, Bruce.
John Meyer coming over here from Lakewood High School, Willie.
Well, you know, I'm sure John had a few more things to say. Bruce Bruce makes those interviews short and quick. They gave him the...
Well, that's what we told him last week, and make them short. Don't string them out. But you can ask a couple of questions, Bruce.
You know, it's a timeout. You got some time.
Well, Willie had jumped all over him last week about that. Now he's trying to...
Well, let's not miss the touchdown, but, you know.
Boy, that Padilla guy, he's tough on these kids. But they're getting good experience, Willie. This is really great for these kids to get this on-camera experience.
Making it memorable.
Yes, it does. Very memorable. That's my baby out there, their mother would say.
Don't want to show any favorites. 6:37 left, second quarter action. I'm Willie Padilla, along with me, Errol Parker, Bruce Tran, everyone from Ed Dot Sports. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. Leuzinger, quarterback Marshall, dropping back. Pass in and out of the hands of Alpha English. And I'll tell you what, very close to wrapping up an interception was Bo Ablin. It looked like he let it go, as if he thought someone else on his team would have it, and instead it ended up in English's hands, and I think he was as surprised as anyone that it got past Amblin, and he flat out dropped it. Ablin looked like he had a pick. As a result, English didn't have a catch.
Well, this is a very competitive game as opposed to the two previous games on the game of the week the last couple of weeks. We have a real competitive game, 7-6 here midway through the second quarter.
I'm on, Rich.
Punt by Chaz Foster, taken by Velasquez. Velasquez trying the left side, trying to get a block, gets it down the sideline, trying to get another block, gets tripped up by the punter, Chaz Foster, but you could see Velasquez needed a block, and it was coming. The cavalry's coming, and oh my.
The coverage was not good by the Leuzinger Olympians. There was only two guys down there to cover the punt, and when you got athletes, you need as many guys to cover that field. He had a corridor on the left side of the field, if we can get the replay, and it was only the punter who had the shot at him, and he got one arm on him. As we see him hit the sideline, and there was a nice block over there to at least stop number one.
A series of blocks there.
Oh, that might have been.
No, but watch this. The smartest play is coming up. As Foster's there, very nearly was Curly Dorn going to try and block. Instead, he smartly backed off, said, hey, couldn't spring you the rest of the way, but it's better than picking up a clip.
Well, that block earlier was very close to a clip that we saw, which could have called that beautiful run back.
It was the side. It was the side, Coach. The give to Gaither, wrapped up at the line. Nice tackle by Donald Bell. Tell you what, those two-way players, it'll catch up with them. And Bell's not a big one either. But then again, neither's Gaither.
No, but Bell is really a gutsy player. We see him at both sides of the football.
Second down, 8. Pass by Battle, intended for Gaither. Too tall. Coverage provided by Alpha English. Another name that you'll recall from the offensive side of the football. Drop that pass, it would have been good for a first down.
They have 8 players going both ways.
Including quarterback Marshall. Marshall's in the secondary. English. McCullough, Tavita McCullough's out there. Also Chester Johnson, Donald Bell.
And they're playing skill positions. And that means they're doing a lot of running, backpedaling. But these guys are young, but it does catch up with you.
Making our job a lot easier. Only has to go through about 11 names on the roster. Battle still holding on to it. has time, going right up the middle, has a couple receivers, just too long. Velasquez was out there, but I think Velasquez was also thinking, I gotta stay in bounds. If he had just continued sprinting, he would have made the grab, but he would have been, you know, in the parking lot. So I think that's what Velasquez kind of slowed down, thinking that if I can catch it, I still gotta have my feet in. 4th down coming up.
Battle had a lot of time to throw that football, Willie, and he did a little play action and rolled out to the right and had a lot of time for his wide receivers to develop their pattern.
Wing T not conducive to the pass, although, you know, when you're running the ball well, it does set it up nicely. Line drive kick. Is it up and good? Yes. How about that one by Hewitt as he drills a 40-yarder? 40-yard kick for Hewitt. Nice.
Now, Hewitt's a very calm guy, Willie. I talked to him yesterday at practice. And
not right now.
No, he's really excited, but, you know, he's a very calm guy. He was sitting on the sidelines, and I got a little interview with him, and he was telling me what his longest field goal was and how long he's been kicking. And little did I know that this guy would figure early in the football game and kicked a 40-yarder.
Well, I don't know if Hewitt remembers a guy named Jeff Prince, who was the kicker here quite a few years back. Just an absolute gentleman. That kid had just, I tell you what, political office in this future. He absolutely had it, just a very genteel
I think we
nice
both
guy.
got nice letters from Jeff Prince. It was really nice in his family, really nice guy. And it's nice to get those letters from guys. I wonder what Jeff is doing now.
Kick by Hewitt, short. Taken at the 15, right up the middle for Leuzinger goes Bell. Bell, I tell you what, had a head of steam making the grab and just kept on going.
The last guy got Bell. They tipped me off when I was talking to the coaching staff yesterday that you watch this guy Bell. If we get the ball on the hand with Bell, as we look, if he gets his hands on the ball, he could really make something happen. He goes right through the pack here, and he slips about 3 tackles, and finally, almost a face mask there.
Mike Miller, the grab. Chris Lahara just bounced right off of him, but part of that was because Bell had a head of steam going as he was going right at the line. Up the middle goes Johnson. That was Lamar Johnson. Nothing fancy there, just get up and go.
Nice initial blocks at the line of scrimmage. Daryl Guerin that time sprung a block. Doesn't take much for these guys. I really like the way the offensive lines for both teams are performing.
Both teams having a rough start of things during their first 2 weeks of play. One thing that's nice when you get a level playing field, so to speak, the teams can shine, they can sparkle. And I think these two teams, very competitive against each other, and we're really seeing how well they can play. We've seen when teams are overmatched and how things can go wrong, but here's a situation where both teams very even, and we're seeing them sparkle at times.
Well, and I was impressed the way Leuzinger hung in there with Little Rock. Little Rock has a nice program out there, and it was only 9-6 in that ball game.
This Little Rock nowhere near Whitewater.
I knew you had to say that.
And I just want the folks to know.
Yeah, well, I think they do know. That's in Arkansas, and
but the high school's not. Football right at midfield. First down and 15 for Leuzinger. I formation. Marshall, the delay to Johnson. That's a face mask, and that'll be 15 yards, the personal style. I'll tell you what, Lamar Johnson got spun.
You see how quick the Bruins are getting off the ball and a very, very aggressive. That's why that draw play can really work. Was not for a face mask, it would have legitimately gained quite a bit of yards. As it turns out, 15 yards.
You know, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure you're not going to tackle anyone up here.
Yeah.
You know, I tell you what, that wasn't even – Craig Richardson had his hand up high, and that's the only thing he was going to do was face mask.
That was an undisciplined defensive play, the kind that you don't like to see.
You're not going to tackle anyone up there. You're just either going to wave or get a face mask. Give to Johnson. Down he goes, and a hold will be called against Leuzinger. Virtually tackling Sepau Isaiah was Fabian Guerin.
You notice Leuzinger are trying trap plays, delay plays, because the defensive line for the Bruins is getting off the ball really, really quick, and they're vulnerable to those type of delay plays.
Gustavo Jimenez coming off the field, bum leg as he's hopping. Second lineman to get shaken up, and we already pointed out 7 or 8 guys go both ways for Leuzinger, and you start losing linemen, it's going to get awful thin, literally and figuratively up front. So trade-off of penalties in a sense, as the face mask gets followed by a hold, and on the trade-off it's actually a break for Wilson, but it's still first down, now about 17 yards to go. Clock now showing under 4 minutes left in the first half. Tight ball game, 4-point lead for the Bruins. Give to Johnson on a very, very ugly looking play, and down he goes.
And he went down ugly too. Johnson, someone was below him, really could have cracked an ankle or a knee that time. He's fortunate to get up.
Velasquez, the tackle, Carlos Velasquez. You know, that was a play that looked like a broken play when it appeared that there was just kind of a jumble of people in the backfield. And, you know, once it starts like that, there's probably not a whole lot of good that's going to come out of it, and there wasn't.
The Bruins' interior defense are beginning to dominate the line of scrimmage, and the Olympians will have to find out how they can exploit it.
They got 8 guys on the line, that's why. 3 guys back, 2 linebackers, and then they drop back into coverage. Marshall gets hit as he throws, has a man, complete. Bell with the catch. Is he down yet? No. It'll take half the Bruins to tackle him. That one was up for grabs. It very nearly could have been intercepted had the defensive back on the coverage cut in front of Bell rather than behind.
Well, Bell